Here is Derek Morrell, married, kids. He's a real estate guy, full-time real estate investor, BS in business finance, master's of, he has MBA from Liberty University, former Marine, did some law enforcement, also special agent for the State Department, former board member for one of the largest investment clubs in Houston, keynote speaker, educator, super guy. Had a chance to talk to him the other day for about almost an hour. Guy. So let me.
All right, you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, man. I might rather have Steve's resume and bio, but I'll take mine, I guess, for now. So I guess I have about 5 or 7 minutes here. I'm a full-time real estate investor in Houston, Texas. We've lived here in Houston since 2012, and I worked for the State Department. I was a special agent for the Diplomatic Security Service. That's what brought us to Houston in 2012. I don't have any roots here or anything like that. Long story short, because I only have a couple minutes, I had to make a decision from leaving the government because I had to go. I was up against the wall. Being in the Foreign Service, we have to move every 2 or 3 years. And they told me you have to go to either Iraq or have to go to Afghanistan for 1 year on a company. We had 2 small kids. I'm married. And what I decided to do was leave. I treated the government job like I was getting fired. I left everything. I started getting into some real estate stuff. I started studying it. I mean, I did a couple small transactions. I knew it kind of worked. I knew people do it. But I just left. At the time, I had about $50,000 in credit card debt. My wife, she worked very hard with the kids and stuff, but she didn't have an income. We left the medical insurance of the government. We just went full speed. And my belief was that I could take those 40 or 50 hours, those best hours of my day, and I could apply that to something I knew worked conceptually. I kind of toggled with it. So what I did, I jumped full feet into this thing. And that was September of 2014. So I just hit my 3-year mark a few months ago. And I'm going to share a couple things. I'm going to share a mindset thing first, and then I'll share kind of what I do in real estate. And I'm happy to share more in the discussions. Here's why entrepreneurs fail. And I've been punched in the face a lot in the last 3 years, had my teeth kicked in really bad last year, had $60,000 stolen from me, had projects going on, thinking everything's great, and it goes sideways. That's entrepreneurship. There's very few successful people who run businesses full-time, full speed, that don't get, I call it the teeth kicked in, figuratively. So here's why entrepreneurs fail. If you look on Google, I mean, there are 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs fail in the first year. Some people say 9 out of 10 in the first 5 years. And then some people say 9 out of 10 of those in the next 5 years. Why is that? And it's too simple to say mindset, but here's why. And this dawned on me probably 6 months ago. We like to hunt. Okay, we're entrepreneurs. We like to hunt. We have that tenacity. Some of us in here are military vets or active duty, and others are type A. We like to hunt. The problem is entrepreneurs get wounded. Okay, and when you have to hunt while you're wounded, that's when you fail. That's when you quit, and that's exactly the point of time that people fail, because no one starts a business and says, hey, I hope I'm one of the 8 out of 10 or I'm one of the 9 out of 10 to fail. Everyone starts with hopes, aspirations, everyone's motivated. So what I call this is managing your second explosion, okay? And here's what that means. When you start in anything, I don't care if it's real estate, I don't care if it's you want to sell t-shirts out of your garage, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What happens as an entrepreneur, we go gangbusters. I look at those, you ever see those rubber band balls? It's just a bunch of rubber bands. Think of how much energy is in that thing. When you start as an entrepreneur, you explode, and you go and you're taking down the world. You're talking to everybody. You're working, 15-hour days. You're motivated. What happens is, at some point, my point was last year, actually, at some point that comes crumbling down at you. you get told no 100 times in a row. And those 99 times you were motivated, you're reading, you know, Think and Grow Rich, and you knew all the buzzwords. That 100th time gets you, and it messes with your head. That's when that expansion comes back. And the second explosion is the key point that you have to manage to explode back into the marketplace, to explode back in what you're doing. If you can't manage that second explosion, you're going to quit. That's exactly the point when entrepreneurs quit. I was challenged with that point multiple times, you know, with deals going bad and things like that. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to run quickly what I do in real estate. So I'm a full-time real estate investor. I do a few things. I wholesale real estate. So I'll get a real estate deal under contract, and I will flip my contract to another investor. It's called wholesaling. Therefore, I control a property, but I don't own it. And I'll make a spread. So if I contract a property for $50,000, I find another investor who maybe they're a flipper. They want to remodel and sell it. They might want it for 65. So I have a 30-day contract with the seller. I call this other investor the next week. He says, yeah, I'll take it for 65. I assign him my interest and I make 15K, and I have zero risk. I don't even need money for that. You need money for other stuff, but for the deal, you don't. The other thing I do is I buy properties. My company raises money, so investors give us money. We'll buy the property for $50,000 as is, and we'll throw it on the MLS. I won't repair it. We'll just throw it on the MLS. We'll sell it for even higher. That's the second thing I do. The third thing I do is talking about assets. The first two are active income. That's self-employment, exactly on the left side of that quadrant. The third thing I do is the I side. I'm building into the I side. And what that is I buy the property for $50,000 and I sell it as is for say $110,000 with say $10,000 down. And then I become a bank. So I create money out of thin air, and I create what they call a real estate note, promissory note. And that person then owes me say $100,000. So I might owe my private lender, who are just random people that they invest in my deals with their retirement money, whatever it is. I owe them 50. This new buyer owes me 100. And so that 50K split based off interest rates and stuff, that's what I make. It's called cash flow. I'm happy to talk more about that. I know my time's coming up in a minute. But that's different than landlording. I don't landlord. I used to. One way to find out what you want to do is find out first, answer what you don't want to do. I don't like messing with a lot of people. I don't like tenants, toilets, termites. I don't like getting calls. I don't like just messing with that. And what I'm doing is, when I'm talking about financial freedom, the notes get me to a financial freedom point, which all that is $1 more than your needs and wants. But once you have financial freedom, then you're freeing up. If you quit your job or if you don't have a job, now you can spend 2,600 hours a year building wealth. So I'll leave it at that. I'm about 7-8 minutes into this thing. Thanks.
That was awesome. Give it up for Big Bear. That was awesome. Wow. That was excellent. Thanks a million, brother. That was excellent. Dropping some serious bombs, man. So quick takeaways from that. Quick takeaways, Steve. What kept you, motivating yourself daily?
Well, kind of in my situation, since kind of like what I shared is I went all in. I wasn't working. I didn't have, spousal income. So I burned my boats. So I had to fight for everything I wanted to do. I usually say the worst day in entrepreneurship still beats any day working for someone else. And so with entrepreneurship, I mean, really, 80% of it to me, I'm a big mindset guy. I'm a big self-development guy. I'm a big, I had a mentor. I agree with you guys 100%. My first mentor in real estate always said, in order for you to own the real estate under your feet, you have to own the 6 inches of real estate between your ears. And that is so true. So for me, it was just getting down to the mindset. It was using mantras like progress, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect. Just move forward, take action, solve small victories. And that's kind of, and yeah, I've been kicked in the face a lot, man. I was sharing, you know, losing 60K last year, not really because I did anything. I signed the dotted line. I take responsibility, but dealing with fraudsters and just stuff that happens. I'm stronger because of it though, coming out the back end. So I burned my boats. I had to face my challenges. I could not go back into my hole. I couldn't say, hey, this sucks, I'm going to go back to my job. I had to fight. I was cornered. I was a pit bull cornered, you know what I mean? And so I fought.